Alright guys, so after a little bit of time here, as we did have to repair this round, we've got the same feature match as we expected. We got on the left Brandon Gibbs. He's undefeated tonight with a black-white mid-range deck. His opponent is Nick Reid.
Who always has the sick Reid.
He's always got the sick Reid. Nick is not undefeated. He's got a... I was pretty sure he drew his first round, so I've got this incorrectly. He did in fact draw his first round, so he's 1-0-1, but also undefeated in that scheme of things. And he's on American control, so basically just your blue-white Elspeth Jace deck, but with some number of red burn spells.
And counterfluxes instead of dissolves.
Because that is just better. Harder to cast, but just a better card.
It's better as long as your opponent is also playing counterspells. In this situation, you'd probably rather have the Scry one.
Question in the chat from DFM Games. Zach, do you own the store? I do not own the store. I'm simply just a guy who plays here and has a webcam.
So we saw Brandon serve in with the Pack Rat, and it gets Azorius charmed. He refuses to make a Pack Rat in response, and instead decides it's a good time to land his Underworld connections, and that turns out to be a good decision as Nick doesn't immediately drop a detention sphere on the ground.
Whoops. Dissolve answers the Pack Rat, and he shoves the card from the top. I'm going to go ahead and draw here. I guess you're drawing on your turn in case you find a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, Thoughtseize would be the only thing. And your opponent hasn't shown you a black man yet, so non-drawing on your turn is usually willing to play around Thoughtseize.
In standard stalwart Azorius Guildgate getting some work done here.
Beautiful comes down. It's a very important card in this matchup. But a red splash usually has a better way to deal with it. And is it Charm? Well, we can see Nick hasn't drawn a red lane yet.
There's one. So he shocks himself. So is that a Sphinx for 2? Or
Sphinx
just
for 2, or just needed the red mana for a counterflux. Is it Charm?
Oh, you're exactly right. Yeah, he just. Yeah, is it Charm on the Mutavault would be pretty good here too. Though you're not really in a position where you need to do that.
You'd still take the 2 damage first and then still end of turn. So just representing the counterflux as a Guildgate comes down. And that blue-red Skyline, whenever it comes out, that's probably the most expensive Skyline.
I really hate the way they do that.
Yes.
I think it warps the format in a way that's unnecessary.
But still, regardless of all that, like that blue-red Skyline is going to go in the water.
Yeah, of course it is. It's going to replace, well, not replace, but I mean they're playing Sulphur Falls as it is. It's just so good. It's just another Serum Visions on a land drop.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything on turn 1 anyway, except casting Serum Visions to sleight of hand. Actually, the Twin, they don't even play a lot of sleight of hand
effects.
effects.
Storm deck are going to use that Guildgate, or that Guildgate, that Skyline, I guarantee it.
I can't call you a liar.
Here's D-Sphere.
See, there's an also... See, Cryptmane's giving me grief in the chat because he's saying your name implies you sell magic, but instead you sell nothing. That implies that you have to have a storefront to sell anything.
Right.
In fact, I think I sold $50 worth of cards since I've been here today.
Which is probably more than what the store has.
Hey-o!
Serve in with the Mutavault after our Underworld connections hit the dust. There's a Blood Baroon.
Robert Barone hits the bin. There's a counterflux that we knew Nick had. I mean, it's pretty obvious, like you said, that when Nick shocks himself for his only red source and then doesn't use it for 3 turns, that he's absolutely representing counterflux.
It could have been as a charm, like he could have been wanting to play around a second Pack Rat, but more likely it was more likely you're going to play around counterflux at that spot.
And I think if he had Is It Charmed, he would have end of turn shocked the Mutavault at some point too.
This is bad for Brandon because usually whenever you do a main phase revelation, it's to find your land drop because you have another revelation here. Because you want to draw that extra card on your next turn as well. And this is where it becomes unwinnable for the black-white deck.
Pack Rat normally good, but not so much against the Supreme Verdict deck.
Yeah, they have 8 main board ways to kill it. Even if you have multiple rats in play.
Brandon has drawn a lot of lands this game.
He has a way to filter it now, though. He has the Pack Rat, which is the important part. I mean, that's the part of this.
He still ran that swamp out there.
That's the part of this mid-range deck that puts it above other mid-range decks is that your dead cards in the matchup, you get to filter through your pack rats. So like right now he can throw away a Devour Flesh or a Bowel Blight or something.
Or this ultimate price that we see hit the bin.
Turns into a Grizzly Bear. Or Lord of the Atlantis.
So Nick plays a Hallowed Fountain tap, plays an Elixir. This passes the turn back here, so I'm assuming the American deck is not a Quick and Supreme Verdict deck.
It's Nick Reid. You never know. You never know about these Hurricane boys.
So serving in here for 3, 6, 8?
It's
9?
8. That's 10 if you
10
have to face the Mutavault.
Yeah, so the pack cards go up to 4s, and the Mutavault is a 2. That's a solid 10 here.
And if he has 2 cards in hand, he's representing lethal.
Oh.
There's a Fated Retribution.
Does it say creatures or non-land?
Creatures.
So it gets the Mutavaults
Yes.
too.
Creatures and Planeswalkers. It's not
That is very strong.
Planar Cleansing, which says non-land permanents.
Wow. Whoops. But this allows Brandon an opportunity to land an Elspeth Sun's Champion.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways of dealing with the Sun's Champion, Nick just bent. So it's a little back and forth here. Nick desperately needing to find a D-Sphere.
At 14 life, didn't shock himself off the Hollow Fountain. You gotta be feeling good if you're in Brandon's spot.
Yeah. Well, you're feeling good to begin with because you have an active Elspeth against an empty board from an opponent who didn't D-Sphere it the first chance he got.
Well, you're still scared of Aetherling in this spot. You're scared of your opponent's Elspeth. But of course, Brandon has cards in his hand that he hasn't played all game. You have to assume one of them is a hero's downfall. Nick eventually going to want to crack that Elixir as well. His chances of drawing a Rev are higher without it cracked, but getting the 5 life is not inconsequential here.
So it looks like we're going to fire up an Elspeth of our own. No!
Overload Misery Mortars. This deck sometimes plays up to 3 Misery Mortars main board.
So that will slow Brandon's clock considerably here, but Nick's still facing down an Elspeth that will eventually win this game if left undeterred.
So the Elspeth is on 7. Without the Mutavault, though, it's actually a tough decision whether or not to ultimate her next turn. Outsies you. Take the Verdict. Makes your Desecration Demon's a live draw. So yeah, especially with the Mortars, it's hard to tell if you want to ultimate the Elspeth next turn, because the top deck Detention Sphere is obviously going to be problematic for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is interesting because if you, like you say, if you ultimate on 7, then you for sure get the emblem.
If you had Mutavault still, if you had the 2 Mutavault still, it would be a very easy decision.
Yeah, because you have a clock already. But if you only have the three Supreme Verdictable soldier tokens, then your clock is very fragile. So Nick's at least going to get to scry here. I can't imagine what he's... Wow. Is that a Revelation?
We keep it on top.
Mm-hmm.
It's either a Revelation or a Jace. Keep the Jace on top like a 3 cards the next turn.
So Brandon does not choose the ultimate. We're going to...
Understandable. Just running those lanes out there.
It is a Jace, you're right. Jace, draw some cards.
Yep. If you're dead to the ultimate the next turn. No, you take 12 from the ultimate next turn.
No, there's the mortars we knew he had in his hand, so...
But still, you're facing down a hero's downfall.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that +1. I thought the only reason you keep the Jace is just because it draws you 3 more cards. I mean, effectively, you see 3 more cards.
Extremely greedy play by Nick.
And Brandon just ticks it up.
My Kosen
Well, there's also no guarantee that he was going to win. He needs a pretty significant sequence of draws just to win to have a chance to win this.
The killer is Nick is usually one of the guys that looks at the top 2 cards. So if he concedes here and he looks at the next, well, there's a verdict. That's when he would have found off the
all of these cards that Nick is drawing are effectively fogs. They're it's a time walk basically.
Yeah.
Because whenever Brandon gets the opportunity to have creatures on board and then ultimate Elspeth, this game is not long for this world.
Just looking for Night Bell Spectre.
No, another Underworld Connections.
Pulling the Swamp out. Cycle that this turn.
Oh! Rip City. Wow, so Nick finds a D-Sphere that's going to take out the Elspeth. He's not out of the woods yet here, but...
Brandon asking for the target because there is an Underworld Connections in play. Yes, so this Jace -2 would have found a verdict, a Detention Sphere, and another card that we still don't know about.
It's a very spicy 3 on top.
Yeah.
But Nick's still facing down 3 soldiers a turn here. He is hellbent, so...
Yeah, he would have gotten a Detention Sphere and been able to cast the mortars to clean up the...
And the whole time here, Brandon is getting ahead. He looks like a demon coming up here. There's a Desecration Demon. So not quite dead on board, but that Underworld Connections is a lot of work. So passing back, that's... Oh. Is this a telegraph? I have never seen a more obvious tell than what Nick Reid just did.
Nick Reid drew Fireball.
Goes down to 1. Here's a Mutavault. Here's a Thoughtseize. Oh! So a good bluff from Nick. Here I was giving him... Here I thought it was the most obvious tell ever. In fact, it was the best.
Drew Dissolve.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if that game...
Island, Exile Spirit Guide, Show and Tell, Flip Spirit Guide, pass turn.
Well, that sounds fun. So back at it here, Nick down the game. Just couldn't. He managed to fire off a rev, but an Elspeth Sun's Champion. Ironically, the next phase after Nick cast a Fated Retribution was enough for Gibbs to steal the victory.
So we played a Mutavault on 1. It usually means we're attacking for 2 on turn 2.
Yes.
This is a dangerous spot here. Manga and Thoughtseize are the rest. This is Thoughtseize. Probably AV Thoughtseize. I've played those in a tournament before.
Adam Vickers Thoughtseize?
Yeah. Pick the Assemble Legion because Mono Black can never beat Assemble Legion. Black White obviously.
It has Glare.
Glare and Revoke Existence.
Sure.
I think all the Glare Fairies and now turn into Revoke Existence.
Revoke is just better now?
Yeah, like you don't get to kill an Elspeth, but you're fine.
But you really want to kill an Elspeth, though. More importantly, Brandon missing his 3rd land drop here. Oh, no, because we charmed the Mutavault. I'm sorry. I'm sorting my trade binder while this game is going on and not in any way paying attention like I should be. But a Jace on curve, what did he reveal off the piles? Did you see?
No, no.
We're not very good at what we do here, Garrett.
There's a Brimaz.
Yep. So tick Jace up and mortars your Brimaz. Brimaz not nearly as scary against this deck as it is against some of the other ones we saw. In Vickers' deck in round 1 against a deck that's primary removal spell is Bile Blight at this point. Not nearly where you want to be.
Yeah, whenever you have to trick your opponents into playing into your removal.
And that's exactly what Vickers did in multiple cases, or at least in the one case was.
You see Elixir,
Dissolve, and Guild Gate.
You never put Elixir in a pile by itself because the safest place for Elixir Immortality
is in your library.
Is at the bottom of your library.
Yeah.
What's the last card you ever want to draw?
Elixir of Immortality.
Yes. So the other powers land dissolve. Speak of the devil, you knew I had it.
I think Brandon's fine with.
Yeah, it gets out of his hand. We get to kill the Jace here.
And add another Mutavault to the fray.
Getting that Jace off the field is very important as it makes his Mutavaults better, but also Jace is very good against Spermaz. As Spermaz splits up his power over multiple creatures. I wish more lands costed as much as Skylands.
Sinore the Priest in the chat with the Zinger. Zach, I have a scenario for you. Mono black versus mono blue. Who's more bored? Probably mono black. Because they have to wait for mono blue to do something. Rev for 4.
Yeah, we bashed in with the Mutavaults. I don't know what cards Gibbs is holding. He might have multiple Obsidats in his hand. Or just... You do have to leave in Hero's Downfall in this matchup. As the
Planeswalkers.
Well, they're good against the Planeswalkers anyway, but the control decks could obviously side on Grimhouse, like Nick did, or any other hard to deal with creature. Like, especially out of blue or red, you might face down, say, a Reckoner or
You barely knew her.
Archangel Thune, something like that. So here comes a Jason at +1s. Can't really -2. You get possibly 2 guards off it, but then you immediately lose your Jace to the Mutavaults in play. There's a Blood Baron.
Blood Baron's a pain in the butt, but not nearly as tough to beat in the American Control deck as it. There's some decks that just straight fold to it.
Yeah, this deck has Turnburn, Mizian Mortars, Supreme Verdict, Elspeth, all these things. You see this scenario come up where we split the 1 Milk Mizian Mortars and the 2 lands off the Jace spell. I might go ahead and fire this off now. The Black-White deck can potentially bring in some Obsidats, which is very good against the Mizian Mortars deck.
So we've assembled the Super Friends here of Jace and his girlfriend Elspeth.
She's taller than him, though.
This, I know I know I'm showing my inner Vorthos, and it's, I don't know. In the storyline, are Jace and Elspeth boyfriend girlfriend?
Jason Liliana, birth.
Oh my, because he likes a bad girl.
Yeah.
What's Elspeth doing? She chasing around with
She
Gideon.
runs around with Johnny.
That's. I'm not anatomically. I don't think that can happen. Well, here's a card that I think Standard has forgotten about. It dominated the format for months, and it's still one of the most difficult creatures to kill.
Yes. I have to have a plan for it in my deck.
That being Obsidat Ghost Council.
You have a Ghost Dad in here.
I do. I would rather have $5 for it, but.
The original Ghost Dad.
Oh, is it the foil one?
I think you have the original Ghost Dad in there.
I had a couple of
foil one or not.
Does that make good for good TV?
Elspeth is going to be able to block. The opposite of that, obviously not going to be able to -3 it. But the drain ability is going to add up very quickly here. Now the Black-White deck doesn't play Grey Merchant, but I don't know. The Black-White deck doesn't play Grey Merchant, so there's no surprise damage here that's going to come out of Brandon. There's no Fireball effect.
Yeah, it's very comforting to play against a deck that you know has no reach like that.
Yeah.
That's not going to fire off some direct damage. It has to do its damage through the control. Oh, this is brutal here, where in response to is that Fated Retribution? Doesn't that kill Planeswalkers?
I didn't see what happened.
Fated Retribution, does it kill Planeswalkers?
Yes. It's not that you were looking for it to wild.
No. I was just looking to see if I had one.
Yeah.
I had a taste it, the original taste it. I had one of those foils too. It's worth a little bit.
You should play the Legacy Painter Servant deck with Tesa.
No. I refuse. So Nick down to 2 here. He had to cast Faded Retribution to kill Obzet, and I think he just inadvertently killed himself because it blew up his Super Friends.
Yeah.
So, whoops.